We did have the pilot, but that was all testing. Got a real bona fide guest today, and we're ready to do it. Hope you guys are excited. A couple minutes late here. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. We're about to jump in. All right, guys, welcome to This Week in PM. Rent inflation from the CPI is up 7% year over year, but apparently we just had the worst summer rental market in years. Now, some managers are adding 60 doors per month to their portfolio, while another is in talks to add 600 doors from a private equity fund. And there are more new property managers starting than I've ever seen in my time in the industry. So what is happening this week in PM? Well, today we're going to dive into a data-rich episode and serve up some thought-provoking trends that we're seeing. And we want to hear from you. You can chat into whatever channel you're watching on. And we want to hear what you think the market and the industry is going to do in Q4 of 2023. Now, on today's show, we have Jennifer from RentScale sharing the RentScale Business Development Leaderboard. I've also invited Shanae from ShowMojo, who I saw present some amazing stats on rental times at the Florida State NARPM conference last week. And I want to hear from you what you think all of these numbers mean. Some numbers are trending up, some numbers are trending down. It's creating a lot of confusion. So get ready to submit your questions in the chat on whatever platform you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, so that you can be a part of the show as well. So let's jump in to This Week in PM. And if you're watching, like, subscribe, and follow us on the channels. It really helps, and it makes sure that you're going to see the show every time it goes live, every other Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So some crazy conversations have come up this last week at RentScale, and we mingled a ton with the attendees at the Florida State NARPM conference. You're going to see some impressive numbers on a business development scoreboard today. While overall lead volume is down, our highest achieving clients are actually bringing on more doors than ever. We actually have a client negotiating on a 600 door deal with a private equity firm in Pennsylvania, which begs the question, as we see these large are we seeing these large portfolio holders finally seeing the value of the specialized property manager rather than trying to build their own management team? And how can you take advantage of that to grow your business? Now, overall, at the Florida State Conference and our own lead gen, I'm speaking with more new property management entrepreneurs than ever before. I think we had calls with a half a dozen companies that have less than 10 doors in the last week. I've heard rumblings that the slowdown in the transactional real estate market would bring more startups into the industry. And I think we're actually seeing it firsthand. So as you guys know, we work with some of the largest franchises in the industry, and we're seeing them have more demand than ever for entrepreneurs wanting to start property management companies. So should we expect more competition in the market as we grow our property management companies? I think so. Now, as you know, transactional sales are way down in the residential real estate market industry. Sales have come to a near halt. And so these real estate professionals are going to be looking for more ways to grow their business that will actually be available when nobody's buying or selling. And that means that there has to be more demand in the future for renters looking for a place to live. Because if nobody's selling their homes, then they're going to have to become renters. Now, meanwhile, we're going to share some data today that shows that there's more pressure on the prices of rentals. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you make of all this? Where are we going from here? And how do we use this to our advantage to grow our business? So this all sets us up for a really interesting time in being in property management. Now, that's enough of my musing on what we're seeing. I really want to go look at some hard numbers. So I'd like to invite Jen from RentScale to show the business development scoreboard.
Hey, property management professionals, I am back at you with another Scale Club scoreboard update. We want you guys to be able to take a look at what's happening across the nation and compare yourselves to other BDMs and benchmark against what we're seeing within our community of just under 70 BDMs. So without any further ado, let's dive into the numbers for August of 2023. Our BDMs in August of 2023 added a total of 415 doors. That's up from 379 in July. At the top of the leaderboard, we've got Chicago, Illinois for the second month in a row at 60 doors. He saw an increase from his July numbers. And I can tell you guys that some of those deals are one owner, multiple doors, but some of them are one owner, one door. Single family residential and a couple multifamily residential deals in there as well. Up a couple spots from July is Portland, Oregon at 22. Austin, Texas came in at 20, Atlanta, Georgia at 20, and one of our BDMs who's been in Scale Club for the longest period of time, Hampton Roads at 19. We couldn't be more proud of our BDMs for being at the top of the leaderboard and putting in the work to hit these types of numbers time after time after time. Now you will see that the average doors added for July across all of our members was 9 doors. But if we look at our top 50% of BDMs in our community, they're averaging about 15 doors per month, which is up about 12% from July. All of this with a decreased lead volume. Yeah, you heard that right. So we've seen decreased lead volumes across the entire nation. So most BDMs are experiencing a little bit of a slowdown in leads. In July, we reported out that an average was 31. And this month in August, it is 29. So what is our Scale Club community doing to see higher total door count with lower leads? Well, we're staying focused on the conversations that we're having. Skill Dev in August was all about the art of persuasion, how to have a negative cash flow conversation. So if you've got an investor that's on the phone and you're trying to close them and bring them into your property management business, we know that if that property has negative cash flow, there is more selling and more influencing that has to be done by the BDM. So that was a huge focus. This month in September, we're talking about leveraging our conversations through video to make sure that we're getting the right messaging in real time with really valuable content and connecting with people through the heart before the head. So exciting stuff that we're talking about in Scale Club. The last thing that I want to share with you guys is our percent to goal. On average, our BDMs are about 81% to goal. How do we know that? Well, because we sit down yearly and quarterly and we forecast with you guys. So we know exactly how many doors you want to achieve and what has to go in the top of the funnel to make sure that you can do that. That's my update for August. I can't wait to come back to you guys with September numbers, new trends, and what we're seeing in the marketplace. Back to you, Jeremy.
Wow, 60 doors this month on the top of the leaderboard and an average of 15 new doors added in our upper percentile of BDMs. I'm excited to bring on our featured guest for today's show. But first, let's hear from one of our sponsors.
Hi there. Did you know that RentScale hosts one of the largest communities of property management sales professionals in North America? Well, my name is Reese Register, and I'm actually a previous BDM and currently a scale coach here at RentScale. We provide over 20 hours monthly of teaching and training and accountability to make sure that our BDMs are supercharging their sales business through inbound, outbound, and allbound. So if you're interested in learning more about supercharging your business, go over to rentscale.com. We'll be glad to schedule a consult and see how we can help you transform your business today.
Last week, we attended the NARPM Florida State Conference, and one of the sessions featured Shanae from ShowMojo, highlighting the leasing metrics and trends that ShowMojo is seeing within their clients' data. And I was fascinated and wanted to bring her on the show. So I'd like to introduce you to our guest, Shanae. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm good, Jeremy. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. My takeaway from the conference was worst rental summer season since 2017. What are you seeing?
Yes, so since 2017, we have definitely been in the worst rental market that we've ever been in. But there is definitely hope for you property managers. And I'm gonna start sharing my screen so y'all can see some of that data that we've been collecting. So you can know exactly where it's going and how to prepare for the future.
Walk us through it.
All right. So, sorry, I'm having technical difficulties over here. Let's go to the next. Okay, there it goes. So since 2017, we've had the worst rental market on record. You can see the trends here where it was good. It was getting good in 2020 when the pandemic hit. And then as the years went on, you can see that that trend definitely started to change. So you can see that homes are sitting on the market a little bit longer than they have before in the past. So we also looked at some. So with that trend, we've noticed not looking to move right now. And you have to remember that there are a lot of things that have changed recently. A lot of those government funded programs that were given out during the pandemic, they're no longer available. So all of those stimulus packages are ending. A lot of people are having to go back and, find their own health insurance. They have no longer discounts on their rents. And a lot of students are also getting back to paying their student loans in the upcoming months. So there are a lot of different factors that are going into the trends why people aren't inquiring about making a move. So we're still trying to catch up with all of this. We have noticed that over the recent years that we've still seen a lot of rent reductions as well. Again, we haven't seen this many rent reductions since 2017, and we're hoping in the future that it will end up leveling out once this new shock that has happened to everyone with the changing market, with all these new things, it will change in the future. Winter is coming. So this is just a quick analysis of what's happening in the market. Again, you have those pandemic stimulus things that are finally coming to an end that people have been using for the past few years. A lot of debt has gone up in most households due to a lot of those stimulus packages that are ending. And over on the real estate side, we also have the highest interest rates since the Great Recession. So that's forcing a lot of property owners to make those short-term rentals into long-term rentals, or just not having as many properties on the market as a rental, just because there's not a great return right now. And then you go back into those student loan payments that are happening. So you have a lot of people that are renters that still have those student loans that were deferred for the past few years that are now having to get back into the habit of paying those. So a lot of budgets are being cut due to a lot of these things that are ending. But it will get better. But we will get back to is that property managers just really need to get back into those basics, get back to the basics rather. And those best practices include following up with those leads that are coming in, making sure you're staying front of mind, you're doing those showings. And there are a lot of different tools that can help you with being at the top of your game in this crazy rental market that we're currently in.
So I want to ask you, we say something like worst summer market in recent history. Some of the numbers that I don't think you shared that I remember hearing at the Florida State Conference were days on market, number of people that were concessions. So I heard something like the average days on market within your portfolio has been around 33 days. Is that, my memory serving me right?
Yep, that is correct. We did collect that, and we've seen that homes are sitting longer on the market. And with that, we've seen a lot of rental reductions that have gone into those longer days on market as well.
And I wanted to ask you about that because when I sat in the audience, I thought, well, is this rent reduction $50 or is it $250? I mean, obviously, we just showed CPI inflation is that rental rates are up around 7% year over year. And clearly anyone in this industry knows that we've done nothing but grow rents by the last 3 or 4 years. And so are these rent reductions as dramatic as they might sound, or are they just tiny little reductions that are just moving the properties faster?
So they're not super dramatic reductions. $100, $200, but you're not seeing, dropping down, more than $300 to $400 in the market. So they are small reductions to get people interested, to try and get people in the door. I have more slides on that. I can definitely share that with you later, but we are seeing some of those reductions being in the hundreds right now.
Okay. And you had a graph about the, kind of leads per rental. If you can pull that up, I just want to see that.
Yep.
So we're just kind of seeing less demand per rental than we had at the height of the pandemic. Is that correct?
That is correct. Inquiring. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Walk us through what this graph means, because there's a lot of lines here and it's a lot of math.
Yeah, there are a lot.
I'm a sales guy, so you got to walk me through what we're looking at.
Yep. So here we're going to focus on this side of the screen under August. This is where you can see what's happening right now with how much data that we've collected. So this blue line, you can see that we've had more inquiries during the pandemic between 2020 and 2021. And this red line, this is where we are right now. And the lowest that it's been was 2018, 2019. That's this purple line here.
Okay.
And you can see how it changed over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dramatic drop from being in the 30s to being in the low to mid 20s, which is about a 50% drop per property.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. And what's the sample size we're looking at here? When I think about the data you have, which is amazing, let the viewers know, how many markets you're in. Is this national? Do you have any kind of context on how much data we're looking at here?
Yep. So this is a pulling from, and it's 500,000 successful rental periods. So about 500,000 within our database that we're pulling from nationwide.
That's great. All right. So what's the context? I mean, you obviously went to the winner is coming slide, and I don't want to be too dramatic, but what does this mean for investors? What does this mean for property managers? What do we take away from this?
So the biggest takeaway is things will get back to normal. I know that we are in a gloomy period right now, but things will get back to normal. But you just have to get back to the basics. And the basics, just, following up with people, making sure you're staying in front of them, you're doing those phone calls, you're showing those houses. Is not as easy as it used to be. Before, we could just put a home on the market and it would rent, in less than 24 hours. This is a different market. People are way more conscious when it comes to their money and their budget. They have more things that they're having to pay for now than they had to pay for a few years ago. So what you can do as a property manager that are given to you, you have, the services that are available to property managers that are coming in, so that way you can get through this tough leasing season.
Excellent. All right, so I want to take your questions, guys. This is the reason we do this live. What do you want to ask Shanae? I'm getting a few questions coming in. This is actually something I was thinking about as I was preparing, Shanae. Let's talk about market regionality. So obviously, I'm guessing the Florida market's different than California, which is going to be different than New Jersey. Obviously, you're giving us great overall numbers. Do you have any breakdowns? Are you thinking about separating out regions or information? Because I'd kind of love to know what you're seeing in different markets.
Yes, that is something that we are able to do, and we do a monthly data talk where we're always updating those numbers. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about those regional numbers, we can definitely break that down for you, so that way you can know exactly what's happening in your part of the country.
Excellent. And one of our coaches chimed in, Shanae, which I'm sure you can add more. So Reese wanted to remind us that if you're a client of ShowMojo, that you can be looking inside your own ShowMojo portal and you see some great graphical tools and trends for your business, right? So even though you're showing us the national trends, how can we be using this individually if we're a ShowMojo client to make sure that we're telling our clients what we're actually seeing in our market?
Right. Yeah. Thank you. So yes, you can go into the reporting section in ShowMojo and you're able to view all of your properties that are on the market. You can go back and look at your market times. You can pull a calendar period and you can see all of that. And we also collect all of the activity that's happening on those reports with the feedback reports that are coming in from all those prospects that are seeing the property. So there are a lot of different data points that ShowMojo pulls on to make sure that you are able to get that property leased out.
Excellent. All right. So if you guys have any more questions, let us know. Got a few comments in here, more comments than questions, which is great. I appreciate that. People are loving the data, Shanae. All right. So if you don't mind, you can stop sharing your screen because we want to see you. You obviously, as we get into more questions here, this is now something you guys are sharing on a regular basis. You know, we love seeing industry numbers. I think the industry sees it. So how can we learn more and how can we follow this information next month and the next month when the stats are updated?
Yep. So you can go ahead and register for the ShowMojo Data Talk. I am sending that to you right now, Jeremy. You want to go ahead and...
We'll include that in the show notes for sure.
So I'm going to send that over to you so that way you can go ahead and get registered for those data talks. We do have one upcoming at the end of this month. And also our owner, Pete, he will be speaking at the Rent Manager Conference. So if you want to see him in person, go ahead and get some other questions answered. He is the man behind all of this. So he will be able to get very specific with anything that you would be needing to ask him.
We appreciate you sharing this public data. I mean, this is something we're trying to do at RentScale as well. If you have a unique vantage point and you're seeing more data, why not put it together? And then, as we know, there's no national real estate market. There's no national rental market. People need to know their own local markets for sure. But it's still great to see this at a national level and see what everyone's doing. So we really appreciate you sharing these numbers. It's very validating, I think, for managers that are like, is it just me? Is the market crazy? Are things going up, things going down? That's what we want to do. So I hope you come back, Shanae, and we can share some more numbers in the future.
Yes, definitely. I would love to be back on.
All right, Shanae, really appreciate you being here. Thanks for putting this together.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy.
All right, this episode is brought to you by Strategic PM, the magazine for property management entrepreneurs and executives. If you go online to strategicpm.com today, you're going to find an entire website full of content written about your industry and by your peers. And it's completely free to sign up. Just go ahead and click on the create a free account right in the upper right-hand corner. When you click on that, not only can you create a digital account, but you can actually add your mailing address and we will send you a free 1-year subscription of the print magazine, which will be showing up in your offices every single quarter. So if you take a look inside the magazine, what you're gonna see is that we are focused on growth. We've got 5 pillars of Strategic PM: vision, strategy, culture, marketing, and experience. You're gonna be seeing some great high-class content from some of the best thought leaders in the industry talking about the matters that matter the most to your business. So sign up for free today at strategicpm.com and look for the magazine in your office. Thanks for all the questions, guys. They kept coming in as I let Shanae go. We got some great questions here. I'm gonna basically send those over to her, see if we can post these in the show comments, because it sounds like you guys had some great conference around different brackets and what people should expect going forward. And so we want to share that information with you. Really appreciate you guys coming here and getting all of that information and asking those questions. I'm going to move to the calendar. All right, we've got some events coming up. The reason we found Shanae is because we went to the Florida State Conference last week, which was fantastic. Got a few more state conferences coming up for NARPM. The next one is Arizona State, which is on September 22nd. We've got the National Annual NARPM Convention and Trade Show coming up October 16th to 19th. And RentScale will be there, and we will be there with issue number 2 of Strategic PM. So we hope to see you guys there and hand those out to you. And if you haven't signed up yet, go to strategicpm.com, request your free annual subscription to the magazine, and find out what the fastest growing property management companies are doing in America. We've also got the Virginia State NARPM Conference coming up this month at the very end. It's September 26th. And then we're looking forward to December, where I think property managers will be descending on Austin in a great way. So we have Lead Simple University, which is December 5th to 8th in the middle of the week. And we're hijacking their conference and showing up with Sales Mastery, our annual conference for property management entrepreneurs and BDMs in Austin on December 4th. This year, we're hosting the Allbound Conference. I just got off of a planning session this morning. We are going to make this our biggest, most exciting event you have ever seen. You will not want to miss this. You will see a ton of content on social media about all the crazy things we're going to do in downtown Austin. And you will definitely have total FOMO if you don't make there. So I hope to see you there. I also want to point to you to Strategic PM, the website. While we work on issue number 2, we have produced some amazing articles that are available for you to read. We've got a great new article about a property manager who's partnered with clients and other managers all over the country to invest in over 500 units in partnership that he is either managing or just investing in. We've got another popular Coffee with Closers that highlights one of the best BDMs in the industry. Brad Puckett has an amazing article about how he's partnering with investors to grow the company. And we've got some great tips as usual on how to grow your property management company. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for joining in and learning about the latest tips and trends from the top residential property managers in North America. Please be sure to join us every time. We're online at 3 p.m. Eastern every other Thursday so that you don't miss what you need to learn with your competitive manager. Thanks to Jen, Shanae, our producer at Flintstone Media, and the entire RentScale team for helping me put this together. We'll be back in 2 weeks, but that's what's happening this week in PM.